What's up, guys? BassQuest Fishing Charters here. Today we're going to be talking cast nets. This is one of the first videos I've done specifically related to the live bait fishing that I charter for all the time. And today we're going to be talking good, better, and best as far as cast nets go. Now, I've partnered up with Lee Fisher Sports. They've been making cast nets since the very beginning of the 80s, and they make some of the best ones on the market, in my opinion. I've used a bunch of other brands, whether it's FinPec or Betty's, or you guys get what I'm saying. But these, I think, are the best option when it comes to economy, pricing wise, and then durability of the net itself, and then usefulness. And to me, those are the three biggest categories. Now, starting out, let's talk about a beginner level cast net, because I get this question all the time when I'm on the boat or I'm talking to somebody in a bait tackle shop. If I'm starting out and I'm going to get my first cast net, it's going to be one of these right here. This is the Joyfish brand. Heath Jordan actually turned me on to these nets, and they are phenomenal as far as being effective to catch bait, as well as being very affordable. All right, so the Joyfish cast net, it's still a heavy cast net, which is what you need when you're trying to land on top of bait and when you're trying to make sure that they'll run out from under the net, which is the most annoying thing when it comes to cast net and bait. What's nice about this is they have real lead weights. Guys, do not get a net. I don't care what net you get. Don't get a net that doesn't have real lead, because it's dense and it's small. And so this net will sink a lot faster. The other thing that makes these really good is they're doubled over on the bottom. So if you hang this net on a rock or a stick or something, you're very likely to get it back with minimal damage, if any damage at all. They have extremely heavy braille lines. I mean, that's 80-pound test, 150-pound test, going up to a horn right here. This is one thing that absolutely irks me on a lot of cast nets, is they have a horn with very small little openings on it. You can see these are really big, so when this net is coming to, it doesn't tangle up. The net can cinch down and catch all the bait that I need. All right. So this is your entry level Joyfish cast net, 1.2 pounds per foot of real lead. That's the key here. And we'll talk mesh size a little bit later. All right, now jumping up from that. Now, a lot of this fishing that you see us doing is in the wintertime. So the great thing, the excellent thing about wintertime fishing when it comes to live bait is the bait is stacked up out deep where you can find it really easy. And the sucky thing about wintertime fishing is it's stacked up out deep. So you got to have a net that sinks fast, right? Here comes the bait buster cast net. All right. You can see it looks very similar. Now, I just have a different color monofilament on this mesh here, so don't worry about that too much. But you can see we also have real lead weight on this one. Now, what you can't really tell is that this net right here is actually 1.5 pounds of lead per foot. So by adding that extra, couple ounces per foot on there, what we do is we sink a lot quicker. And that's going to help us obviously get down there, keep that net open, and get inside that bait and catch as much bait as we possibly can. That way we're not catching one bait per throw. We're catching 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 baits per throw, right? We're going to minimize how many times we have to cast this when it's freezing to our hands, all right? That's the bait buster. So this is another Lee Fisher. All these nets are Lee Fisher brand, but they have different sections within there, or different levels of quality is what I would say. The bait buster is going to be your mid-level. So a Joyfish cast net is going to run you anywhere from upper 80s to low 100s in price, depending on what kind of mesh you get and depending on what kind of size net you get. Now, when you jump up to the bait buster, you can spend anywhere from low 100s all the way up to almost $200, depending on what you get. If you get a really big net with really small mesh, that's going to be a lot more expensive versus a good size net, maybe an 8-footer with a bigger size mesh. It's funny because you would think a bigger mesh to catch bigger fish like mullet would be more expensive, right? But that's not the case. The smaller the mesh, the more material that's used and the more difficult it is to make the net. So the smaller the mesh, so if you go 1/4 inch mesh or 3/16 inch mesh, it's actually a much more expensive net. All right. Now we're going to go to the best option, and this is what I'm going to pick up every day when I'm catching bait on the water, and that's going to be your humpback cast net. That is the highest end net that is made by Leaf Fisher Sports. It is a commercial level net, and I absolutely love this thing. Again, really high quality horn. It has big openings to manage all these braille lines. Doubled over line over here at the top, so much heavier, so that we're not breaking line at the horn right there.
That is stinky.
Yeah, this one you can tell I use it every day.
Woo!
Smells delish.
Woo!
All right. And then we've got doubled over monofilament down here at the bottom, and this one right here is 1.6 pounds of lead per foot. That's going to give us an incredibly great sink rate on here, extremely high quality and thick monofilament line on all of these nets here. But these humpback nets are just next level when it comes to that. Now, the humpback series, you can actually get these custom made, and they will make you, if you call in, I'm going to leave some information down here. You can get a hold of Steve over at Humpback Cast Nets, and they'll get you set up if you want something a little bit more custom. So I've got a net on order right now that's going to be an 8-footer that's going to have 2 pounds of lead per foot. Now that's called their deep sea model. So they'll make you that, and they'll actually make you a shallow water version, which is 1.3 pounds of lead in the humpback series as well. Now these humpback nets, they are premium. That's commercial grade. You know, this is for people that are out on the water every day, and they're going to run you, you know, upwards of $300 into $300 range. Most of these nets are, but they're well worth it if you're serious about doing this live baiting thing. So what I would recommend when you get started out, you're going to start out with a Joyfish cast net or a Bait Buster cast net. Those are going to be your two best options. And what I would recommend, here's my recommendation. If I was going to buy a net to go catch gizzard shad tomorrow and I was just starting out, I would look at an 8-foot Joyfish cast net. Now, 8 foot is pretty manageable as far as learning how to load that net up and throw it. And we'll do another video on how to do that and how to do it in a way that you're not getting yourself soaked and wet in the wintertime. But that 8-foot net in a 3/8 ounce mesh will catch those shad when they're shallow, and it does a great job of opening up and catching those fish. And it'll catch a wide variety of sizes of bait too, so you're not getting a ton of bait stuck in the net itself, which is extremely frustrating when you have fish that are gilled in there. So that 3/8 is just a perfect starter. So you can do a lot of things throughout the entire year with that net. Now, if you get serious about wintertime fishing, your starter net's definitely, you're going to want to jump up to one of these Bait Buster nets. And really it's to get that 1.5 pounds of lead per foot there. That's going to get that net down there. And we're going to go a bigger mesh size. So that's 3/8, right? We're in the Joyfish series for our starter net. Our other net, a little bit more advanced, a little bit better, is going to be a either 1/2 inch, which is a ballyhoo net, or a 5/8, which is a mayhamen net, which those are two different kinds of saltwater bait fish. But that 1/2 inch, especially 1/2 inch or 5/8, will sink very fast. It'll stay open. So if that bait's suspended maybe 10 to 15 foot down over 30 foot of water, you can get down there and get that bait. Those are the two that I would recommend for you. If I was just starting out and I was getting serious about this live bait thing, I would have me one Joyfish, 8-foot 3/8. I would have an 8-foot 1/2 or 5/8 in the Bait Buster. Now, if you do get very, very, very serious for a wintertime net, hop over to this Humpback series. You will not be disappointed here. These are extremely durable and just a fantastic net. It's going to last you years and years, and really all of these nets are going to do that for you. But this one right here, when you start, jumping up into that 1.6 pounds and 2 pounds of lead per foot, you're just taking away your throws, right? So maybe it takes you 30 throws with that Bait Buster net over there in the wintertime. Maybe it takes me 5 with this one. So save your shoulders if you're an older gentleman and you've got the money to do it. Go ahead and pop up to this one, because sometimes when you're throwing a cast net and it's before daylight and the cast net's freezing to your hands, it's 19 degrees outside, it's not super, super, super fun to throw that thing 30 or 40 times. So anyway, guys, I hope this is helpful for you. Again, good, better, best on cast nets, Lee Fisher brand. I still believe they are the #1 out there as far as economy, quality, and then just the durability of the net. As always, guys, I hope this week finds you out on the water, and I'll catch you there.